Okay, hello people. The next item we're going to look at is a MIDI foot controller, and this is model FCB1010 MIDI foot controller, and it's made by Behringer. Behringer is a company that makes a lot of musical devices. They make mixers, they make guitar effects, they make pedals, they make rack mountable units, a bunch of musical devices for the music world. They make mixers. They're a pretty good company. So this particular model here, it's a MIDI foot controller. It's a MIDI device, and it sends out MIDI messages to another MIDI device. Could be an effects unit. It could be a mixing board that accepts MIDI signals. Anything that has a MIDI input, this will send out MIDI programmable messages to that unit. So like I said, this is made from Behringer. It's a pretty good size unit, and it's got, as you can see, two pedals on the end of it. These are called expression pedals. Expression pedal A, expression pedal B. And that means that when you're on a certain patch number or MIDI number, it affects the parameters on that MIDI patch that you're on. Like you can gradually do the volume on that parameter. You can assign the parameter to this pedal or any of these two pedals to do a delay. Like you can have it more delay, less delay. It does your gradual signal pull on these MIDI channels. Whatever MIDI channel you have selected on here, it'll work with the variables of that MIDI channel, whether it be panning, delays, reverbs. Control the amount of reverb, control the amount of delay, control the panning, control the volume. Whatever parameter you assign to these pedals, it will work with whatever patch number you punch on this unit. So let's look at this unit, the construction of it anyway. It's made out of thin metal. It's pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy unit. And let's look at the back side real quick. Nothing on it. It's just flat piece of metal all the way through. The side view here, the back side of it, it's pretty standard. It's got a thin little metal edge on it here, as you can see. No buttons or any inputs or anything on this edge. Let's look at the side. It's just got a black plastic piece on the side here. No inputs or anything. I think the same thing goes for the other side. Let's look at the other side. Let's turn it around here. See what we got there? Yeah, it's the same thing. It just got a black piece of heavy-duty plastic onto this metal body on the side. So let's look at the rear side of this unit. And I think that's where we got some stuff that we can actually look at. Your inputs and switches or whatever, on and off switches. So here's the unit right here, the back side of it anyway. And it's got your power cord. Power cord goes right there. It's got an on and off switch. And like I said, it's made by Behringer. There's the name right there. And it's got switches. And these work with the foot pedal switches. They're input jacks for switch 1 and switch 2 to 1/4 inch. And you can assign that to, what that does is it works with regular pedals, like effects pedals. Like if you have an analog effects pedal, you can have these little black switches up here, and you can assign any one of these to these switches, and what it does is it turns on or off whatever unit is plugged into this. And so that's the way those work. And then at the end over here you have your MIDI connectors, MIDI in and MIDI out. So this sends, just like it says, MIDI out. It sends out MIDI signals to whatever unit you want to control, and this one says MIDI in will receive MIDI signals from another unit. If you want to program, for example, if you want to program this unit right here, you can get MIDI signals to go into this unit as well. So it will receive and send MIDI signals. Let's look at this, and we'll take out our little holder from underneath. We'll turn this back around, put it on here, and go through the unit. So let's center this over here so we have it kind of like in the center. That's close enough right there. And so Yep, there's the unit. So it's pretty good size, you know. You can tell by my hand, you know, about how big it is. And it does a lot of things with MIDI. It's one of the better controllers out there for a real reasonable price. It's not very expensive. So let's turn the unit on and see what it does. We're gonna plug it in. So we're gonna put the plug in there. There it goes, it's plugged in. And now we're gonna turn the unit on with the switch on the back that I showed you earlier. And then it'll come on. There you go, it says 00 on there. So the way this works, you press on these switches, and as you can see, a red LED light will come on, indicating that that switch is active, 8, 9, and 10. And as you can tell, these numbers aren't changing. What will change is the red LED on this light. This is just basically, this number tells you what bank you're on. So these will go up 10 at a time according to whatever bank you want to go on. So it starts at bank 0, which is patches 1 through 10. And like I said, the red LED light comes on. That's why you can tell where you're at. When you press this up, you can see it'll change to bank 1. And if you go up, bank 2, and vice versa. So in other words, bank 0, which is the base bank, will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then if you go to up a bank 1, instead of 1, you add 10 to it. This will become 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, so on, all the way up to 19. And when you hit this last one, 10, will go 10 up, which will be 20. And it works like that. So say you want to go up another bank, so bank 2, so 2 times 10, this will be 30, this will be 29, 28, 27, 26, all the way on down to 21. So that's how it works. You just add 10 to each increment of the number. So that would be 30. So anyway, so we'll go back down to the base 0. So that's how it works. You just press on these things, and it indicates what's on, and you look at your unit that you're controlling, and it'll change the display on the other unit. So say you're on 4 here, the other unit will say 4. 8, the other unit will say 8. So like I said, this is a remote MIDI controller for a unit that receives MIDI changes or MIDI messages, which is what this is putting out every time you press one of these for controllers. It's a pretty easy unit to work. Like I said, pretty straightforward. And the red LED light tells you what MIDI program is being sent out. 6, 2, 3, 4. So it's pretty simple. And that's the way the Behringer FCB 1010 MIDI foot controller works. Look it up, have some fun, play with it.